Two. Start.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are from Mechanical Engineering, Team 2, and we are here to discuss about is it good to continue education in mother tongue or other languages like English or Hindi and in other languages.
I would prefer to have mother tongue as a normal language to the all the subjects, because we all think English as a universal language, so we should learn it. But when we get adapted to our mother language, so that we have some we will habituate to that language. When we have countries like Japan or China, so they will have all books and or any articles written in their own language. There is no English in it, so they will learn their own language. So there will be no language barrier to any persons. So it would be preferable to have their mother language as a preferred language to their country.
As nowadays we see English is being the mandatory subject or mandatory language. Everyone's speaking in English, and we should work for others. Like we working in India, we have to work for foreign companies like MNCs which are in other countries and who may speak other languages. We need to communicate with them. If we are confined to only our mother language, we don't know how to explore in their language, and we can't explain things to them, and we can't know other things like we can't explain the projects, or we cannot know the other things which are being gone, which are going out there.
I agree with the statement. I agree with the statement. Yeah, okay. It is better to apply them.
I agree with that statement that the English language will have importance to play the main role in our lives, and English must be have the more importance in our job purposes and in the presentations and some job purposes, and it will play the main key role in our lives. And I think the English language is preferred to learn more than the other languages, and
I agree with the statement that education should be continued in the English language rather than our own mother tongue, because everywhere in the world English is considered as the standard language. We learning our education system in English helps us to survive in any place in the world. Helps us to survive in any place in the world with that language. English is everywhere. English language helps us in everywhere in the world.
Yeah, definitely I will agree with that. But the problem I will say is development. See, we have many stuff here. Suppose I know some technical skills here, but I don't know. See, here the language is the barrier. If I want to hire some persons from the other languages, I prefer my local language, right? So here is the problem. Language is the problem. So if I want to if I want to make a development, if I want to move somewhat forward, so I will prefer my local language. I want to develop my local language as a main language or a universal language. Why do I prefer some other language to be my language? Why I need to change it? Why I need my language to change? So when I want to concentrate, I should concentrate on some technical stuff, not on my language. If it is not a barrier. So I would prefer more about my local language. So that is my opinion.
Yes, I agree with what you are telling. It is correct, but English is better to other language. That's it.
Any other conclusions that you want to make?
From this, I conclude that English is a major language and it is a platform for everyone to explore themselves to the outer world, which they don't know, and they can express their views to the others only not in their mother tongue or their own language. They can they can transfer the information which they know to the whole world. Thank you.
One.
Good afternoon, friends. We are from MECH-B third year of team 3 and 4. We are discussing about how a mother tongue or English should be mandatory for our education system and what are the importance.
I prefer English as the language because all over the country and all over the world, the English is using as a main language for communication and other. If going anywhere, the recruiters are also seeing the English language and communication skills with English and by using the local languages, it is very to use for formal talking and other communication. But by using in literature, it is very difficult to know and also very mistakes are being printed or written. So English is very comfortable and easy to communicate and written in our local books and other classes. So I think English is preferred as the other using in any other communications.
Using local language is best preferred than the English language because of everyone should every, everyone should obey the talent towards this without the aid of this language. Well, because the English is a Dutch language, does not talent should a person have. That's why the local language is good, good preferred than the English language. I agree with both of our friends about how English and our local language can be a good in education system, but we have to learn. We have to concentrate on both.
as in future we can interact with bigger companies where we have to interact with both other countries and our local peoples. So learning English is important, but interacting with others is also so important. So considering both, we have to learn in local language and understand them in the language where everybody has the ability to think.
Okay, I will agree to our friends what we talk about. But if we go outside or any other places, we go to study for outside states abroad like uh, France, like other countries. We need to know the English language to talk and communicate with others in their countries. In our mother tongue, we not able to understand with communicate with others uh, freely. They won't understand our mother tongue in that mode. That's why we need to learn English.
I would like to tell that English is the better language to continue the medium, because in the world, wherever you go, it is the English to speak with everyone. Okay, because our local language don't know anybody, so that wherever you go, English is to speak with every people, because it is know everybody. Thank you.
As of a conclusion, I conclude that major of the world is now running on of understanding things, and English being a mandatory language. So I prefer of all the things we have discussed, English may be a mandatory language in education system to better understand the consequences in the world. Thank you.
One.
Today we are discussing about the topic, which one is preferred for the education system, is it mother tongue or English language? I prefer English language as a mandatory for everyone, because majority of the people in the world talk English, so it is easy way to communicate with others. It helps us to explore many things in the world. We can easily communicate and express our thoughts and ideas about the language to the other people. So I prefer English is to be learned everyone and need to be in the education system.
As guys, both the Telugu and English languages are more preferable, because in nowadays I think that English is a basic communication language, because in some states or countries they have their own local language, but I think that English is must and should communicate with all, because as foreign or other states like any Gujarat, Rajasthan, they have their own local languages. But I think that English is they must know and have an experience to talk in that language especially. So I prefer that local language is usable, but we need to concentrate on English more than local language.
I prefer English language. I prefer to learn the English language because there is a lot of chances to get the jobs in multinational companies.
Friends, I agree with the both both English and local languages. As we know, all companies are recruiting the employees who know English very well and communicate very well and discuss with teammates very well and do work fast. As English also useful for abroad, all countries are prefer that it is a standard language. Some as well as local language also useful for in local states we want to generally use local languages as compared to local language. We need to use English as an educational language more.
I agree with both languages. Both languages.
Have you concluded? Give your conclusion for your discussion.
As guys, we conclude that both the languages have their own specific importance, but we have to learn more English than our local language. So I prefer that English as my language, communication language. So thank you.